General senses, olfaction. Olfaction is the sense of smell, action, or odorants on the chemoreceptors. Olfactory mucosa contains 10 to 20 million olfactory cells, which are neurons. Olfactory epithelium in the roof of the nasal cavity. On average, there's 2,000 to 4,000 odors distinguished. Humans have a poorer sense of smell than other mammals. Women are more sensitive to odors than men, highly important to social interaction. We shed airborne odors that are called pheromones. Tissue mucosa is just the goblet cells in columnar form. Olfactory cells are neurons shaped like little bowling pins. Head bears 10 to 20 cilia called olfactory hairs, have binding sites for odorant molecules, and are non-motile. The odorant is dissolved within the mucus, supporting basal cells. So basal cells are both olfaction and gustation. Stem cells which divide and differentiate to replace olfactory cells. Only neurons in the body directly exposed for the external environment. They have a lifespan of only 60 days. The olfactory pathway. Odorants attach to the olfactory cilia, which is the hairs which send to an action potential through the body of the cell to the axon. The axon passes through the cerebriform plate of the ethmoid bone, roof of the nasal cavity, and enters the olfactory bulb. The axons synapse with the tuft and mitral cell axons to form olfactory tracts. They reach the primary olfactory cortex in the inferior surface of the temporal lobe. The secondary destinations are the hippocampus, which is memory, or the amygdala, which is emotion, hypothalamus, insulna, and the orbitofrontal cortex. This is where they identify odors, integrate smell with taste, perceive flavor, invoke memories and emotional responses, and visceral reactions, and bypass cerebral cortex. Some odorants act as nociceptors of the trigeminal nerve. So ammonia, methanol, chlorine, and capsaicin of hot peppers. Special senses are hearing and equilibrium. Hearing is a response to vibrating air molecules. Equilibrium is a sense of motion, body orientation, and balance. Both of these senses reside in the inner ear, a maze of fluid-filled passageways in the sensory cells. Fluid is set in motion, and the sensory cells convert this motion into information pattern of action potentials, and they use mechanoreceptors. Sound, any audible vibration of molecules. A vibrating object pushes an air molecule, a mechanical wave. In turn, it pushes on the other air molecules. Air molecules hitting eardrum cause it to vibrate. The anatomy of the ear. The ear has 3 different sections: outer, middle, and inner. First 2 are concerned with only the transmission of sound into the inner ear. The inner ear has vibrations that convert it to nerve signals. The outer or external ear is a funnel for conducting vibrations to the tympanic membrane, which is the eardrum. The auricule or the pinna directs sound down the auditory canal, composed of the helix, which is the rim, the lobule, which is the earlobe, shaped and supporting by elastic cartilage. External acoustic medius, auditory canal, or is the auditory canal. It's a short curved tube lined with skin bearing guard hairs, sebaceous glands, and ceruminous glands, which is considered the earwax. Tympanic membrane, the eardrum, closes the inner ear of the auditory canal, separates it from the middle ear. about 1 centimeter in diameter, suspended in the ring-shaped groove for the temporal bone. The physiology vibrates freely in response to sound transfers sound energy to the bones, ossicles in the middle of the ear, highly sensitive to pain. The middle ear is located in the air-filled tympanic cavity in the temporal bone. The auditory tube, or the Osgood tube, or the pharyngotympanic tube, connects the middle ear cavity to the nasopharynx, equalizes air pressure on both tympanic membrane, both sides of the tympanic membrane. Normally fattened and closed, and swallowing and yawning opens it. Allows throat infections to spread to middle ear. The auditory ossicles, there are 3 parts. The malleus, attached to the inner surface of the tympanic membrane, the incus, articulates between the malleus and stapes, the footplates that rest on the oval window, inner ear, where the inner ear begins. The physiology transmits and amplifies sound from the tympanic membrane to the oval window. The stapedius and tensor tympani muscles attach to the stapes and malleus. The tympanic reflex during loud noise. These muscles protect the tympanic membrane from damage. The internal and inner ear has a bony labyrinth or bony maze, technically, which is passageways in temporal bone lined by membranes and filled with fluid with endolymph, similar to intracellular fluid, floating in the perilymph, similar to cerebral spinal fluid. The 3 parts are the vestibule, the semicircular canals for equilibrium, and the conchula for hearing. Hearing within the inner ear. The conchula is the organ of hearing. It winds 2½ coils around the screw-like axis of the spongy bone, the modulus. The fleshy tube is called the cochlear duct, or the cochlear duct. The cochlea has 3 fluid-filled chambers separating the membranes. The scala vestibuli superior chamber begins at the oval window and spirals to apex the helictroma, filled with perilymph. Scala media, triangular middle chamber, filled with endolymph, separated from the scala vestibuli by a vestibular membrane. Scala tympani by the thicker basilar membrane. Contains spinal organ of the chordae, spinal organ, acoustics organ that converts vibrations into nervous impulses. The scala tympani, the inferior chamber, filled with perilymph, begins at apex and ends at round window.